C10 Talk, episode The Real 132. Josh from Vague Industries, his Toyota Hilux, and a journey to get a C10.
You can't put me in a worse situation than I've put myself in. You know, when you've been to the bottom and you're not scared of it and you're comfortable with it, like, there's nothing bad that can happen beyond that. Like, you can't get further than the bottom.
Damn, son.
When you're looking for classic Chevy or GMC truck parts, brotherstrucks.com is your number one source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC restoration parts. Head over to brotherstrucks.com and order your free catalog today. Whether you're looking to replace your original steering, update those old brakes, or improve your suspension and handling, Classic Performance Products has got your classic truck covered. You can save 10% by using code C10TALK at checkout. 10%. ClassicPerform.com. If you're like me and you want the best possible products for your build, Mar-K Quality Parts has you covered. From side moldings to bedwood and so much more. Mar-K.com, and follow them on Instagram too. When you need weather stripping for your C10, don't settle for just any brand. Seal your build right and make sure you request the best. Ask for precision replacement parts from your C10 parts supplier. Demand quality, demand precision.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast. Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
All right. What up, C10 Nation? Moving right along, cranking, putting these things out. I told you, hold on, because I've got them. I've got a few of these pods to get out to you, and with us traveling, we're going to have more. So this was kind of a fun one that just dropped in my lap. Emily, Aaron, Pilot Reeves, Flying Sparks Garage, they posted up that Josh was making a trip out west to get a C10, and so of course that piqued my interest. So this is the real 132. I somehow skipped like 131, so episode, or the third chassis tech series, was actually supposed to be 131. As I looked through it, I was like, hey, I think I skipped one. So not that big of a deal, but Josh came by Vague Industries and brought his Hilux, sat in studio, and we had a blast. We got to know Josh, we got to know the story, and a little bit about the who the man is behind the cowboy hat, or under the cowboy hat, or behind the driver's wheel of his 77 Toyota Hilux wide body that's screaming out or putting out over 1,000 horsepower, 6.0 liter, 6.0 with dual turbos. Pretty crazy. So we do the interview, and it's late, and they're, I think, going to go hang out with some friends in Phoenix, let's say at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, dude, you got to take me out in that thing. My son's here. And, of course, he loves the truck. He wants to go out. He's almost 17 now. And so Josh puts us in. We jam in the Hilux, and we go ripping down the road. Pull out of my neighborhood, wide open throttle. We feel it, dude. It's put you in your seat, and good times ahead. So I think about the second pull, he's like, shit, I'm out of gas. He can feel it. He's got no gauges, absolutely no gauges. So I go, pull in real quick right here. We literally happen to be by a gas station. Fill it up or whatever, put some fuel in it. Sure enough, when he opened the fuel cap in the bed floor, it looked empty. So we get back out on the road, and he hits it one more time, and then we noticed a sound, a noise, a ringing, a tinging, kind of, it almost sounded like it wasn't part of the motor, but we could hear it. I think he hit it a little bit, he gave it a little fuel, and then it changed. And so at that point, you could just see his face, and he just had to be thinking, are you effing kidding me? So we pull over, turn it off. I think, at that point, then I jump over and turn it over while he's looking at some stuff, and it didn't, sound well at all. So call the boss, my boss, tell her to get the big truck, get the tow rope. We're only about a mile from my house. My son's with us, and this journey, this story just took a 180. So what he thinks happened. We get it back to my house in my shop, which, I mean, you're not going to do a full rebuild here just versus going up to Big Ten Bowman's because he's got everything up there. So we look at it here, and then I tow him up to Jason's shop at like 1 or 2 in the morning. He sets up. I think they're going to sleep and work a little bit, and it ends up they spend the whole weekend, including my son helping, which was cool because he got to experience that. But we left that next morning to go to Mississippi for the crawfish cruise-in. Well, essentially the whole time I'm gone, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're here working on the Hilux, the 6.0. He thinks by hitting, wide open throttle, he was out of fuel and had a misfire, and I can't remember what cylinder, but bottom line is torqued one of them rods and had to take it all apart and new crank and put it all back together. So crank, bearing, I assume all rods, but I don't really know, to be honest with you, because by the time I got back and my son's been at school and we've been crossing paths, and I haven't really done a face-to-face with Josh, but he did get it up and running. I think it was literally like his birthday on Sunday too, which was kind of ironic. So kind of a crazy story. They did get the C10, so the truck was put back together. I know that Big Ten Bowman Jason helped them out tremendously, which is cool, and that's the kind of guy he is. They finished the trip on Sunday, got to LA, Cali, got the C10, and they're headed back as of now to take a 1966 stepper out to Texas to put a 5.3 in it, and then drive back to LA and then go to LS Fest West. So you'll hear that in the story. I don't want to, let it all out of the bag there. But just crazy what a turn of events. They come here, we're hanging out, we're having a good time. Boom, let's go spin the wheels, and we did, and it was fun. He just bent a rod doing it, so not cool. So I'm gonna get that out. This will drop right now. Mississippi was a blast. That show will follow. I did some interviews there, and that show will soon become Get Down of the South, because it's just one of those things where you've got all the people, the atmosphere, the accommodations, his house, everything about it, hospitality. Now, crawfish, they're okay. It's a lot of work. The spicy, the southern spice was yummy, was good. It wasn't too hot. It was right on for me. The potatoes, the corn, the onions, all that stuff was yummy. It's kind of like a roast. I mean, for me, it's just that the roast has a big old piece of meat. This is just a lot more work. So you can't even explain it, though. The alcohol, the friendship, the atmosphere was amazing. And I told Jason, Dead End Garage, I'm like, listen, Poli, you're going to have to do it one more year here, and then you're going to have to look at somewhere else, because he had 70 trucks at his house. He's got a perfect neighborhood for it, but I think if you build it, they will come, and I think you'll continue to see that in the South there. So that'll be out next, and then I'll get the GSI one out which is going to be your chassis series. That one ended up being really long, so I'll get you've got Josh, you've got Mississippi, you've got GSI, and then I actually have already recorded another one with Mr. Mike Finnegan, who happened to be in town and reached out to me and said, hey, I'm in town. So we hooked up, and that will be, I guess, number 4 in this line that I'm sitting on. So hold on tight. I'll get them to you. Hopefully get them out each week, and then we can have some fun with that and go from there. So this is it. This is Josh, Vague Industries. Follow him along at Vague Industries, YouTube, Flying Sparks Garage. He'll be out there. And I know there's some shows coming up, but I just want to get this one out. You guys have kind of heard some of the different show stuff. Obviously, you got the big 3 coming up with LS Fest West, C10 Nationals, and Battle in Bama, which is C10s of the South. That's going to be May 3, 4, 5. Northwest C10s, you've got that one up Northwest. I think that's the 28th of April. And then this weekend, Saturday, April 13th, you've got the Classic Truck Nationals in Waxahachie, Texas. And that's Terry and Mark. Good luck, boys. Good luck, fellas. So everybody's invited to that one if you're out in Texas. Hopefully they have a good turnout. I think he was thinking 500 already pre-registered when I saw him in Mississippi. But you guys have a great week. If you need something, let me know. Remember to rate and review. Love the show. Let us know how we're doing, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Late. All right. C10 Nation in the house. Vague Industries. Who is Vague Industries? I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I knew that it was Vague Industries, but I did see you guys on Hoonigan, which was super cool. And then Emily posted something, and I'm like, holy shit, I watched that episode. So, Josh, last name from Vague Industries, C10 Talk, hanging out in the studio today. Welcome to C10 Talk.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here.
So tell us, dude, what's the story? So there's a C10 somewhere intertwined in what obviously you like. There's some madness as well.
Yeah, so there's a C10 hidden in a grand story, but the big story has gotten so big and kind of out of control. It's pretty hard to condense, but essentially, I've got this 1977 Toyota Hilux that
just this regular old Hilux.
Yeah, well, that's where the story starts. It's just a regular Hilux that was abandoned in the desert 15 years ago, and we picked it up for $250
in this desert.
Yeah, in Phoenix, in New River, actually.
Oh, okay.
And picked it up for $250. Spent about a week trying to get it running, and then I just wanted to drive it home in stock form back to New Hampshire. And it took 3 months and 3 motors, and by the time I got it home, it was sitting on a 2006 Crown Vic chassis, front and rear suspension, and turbocharged LS motor. But in that whole process, I only had a screwdriver, a pair of vice grips, a tire iron, and 4 zip ties for a toolkit. So very limited. And it forced me to engage with strangers and rely on the kindness of strangers to get me through. And it was like, it almost sounds like a panhandler thing, but really, people who don't want to help aren't going to help. But there are a lot of good people in the world. And everybody who sort of helped me along signed the B-pillar of the truck. If you donated parts, time, material, labor, a shower, and expected nothing in return, then you signed the truck. If I had to pay you to tow the truck, you didn't help me, I hired you. But hundreds and hundreds of people have signed the back of this truck. And it's every single signature is sort of a memorial for a time that I broke down, a bad time that was reversed and turned into a good time through the kindness of a stranger. So ultimately, this little pickup truck that I've got, it's now 1,200 horse and low nines. It's a stupid fast twin turbo 6-liter truck, but it's not about the truck at all. Like, I don't care about the truck. It's a really cool thing, but ultimately it's a conversation piece and sort of to pay tribute to the kindness in America. Like, people are genuinely good overall, and that's it's about the people. It's not about the truck at all. So I've got this truck that has absolutely no gauges. I don't have a fuel level gauge, an oil pressure gauge. I don't even have a dashboard in it. So 0 gauges. And last year I put 28,000 miles on the truck, and only in road trips.
How would you know that?
Well, because I know that it's like 3,300 miles to go from New Hampshire to Dallas and then to LA and back, and then turn around and do it again. So just calculated the total average. And how many times I've been coast to coast back and forth. We did 24,000 miles within about 2.5 months. It was just nonstop. We didn't have time to stop and get a hotel room and sleep. We had to literally sleep in the truck on the go because we were going from event to event, to show. And 2 months, 24,000 miles. The average annual mileage the U.S. citizen puts on their vehicle is 12,000. So I was doing 12,000 a month for 2 months. So now I've got, since this last trip, an estimated 3,100 miles on the truck, in a year and a half. And, this is, that's a lot for a daily driver, but this is just, I do cannonball runs. So
24,000, then 3,100 or 31,000?
So it's 24,000 within 2.5 months because I had a lot going on within a short period of time. And then the truck sat for a while. I blew it up a couple of times. I'm on motor number 9, transmission number 11. I got Monster Transmission jumped on board and hooked me up with a bad ass 4L80, straight cut planetary gears. So we got no more transmission troubles. TIC Performance helped me out with the motor. So we've got a solid 6-liter in there now. It's making about 1,100 horse. And and it's kind of reliable, but it's still has no gauges. It's still a damn race car. And you want me to get into the C10? That part of the story?
Dude, I'm loving the whole thing. I mean, I think we should get into you too. So that this is you and how you got to be where you're at. So,
Okay.
so I think that's part of it. And then the C10, I think we should probably, dude, whatever. I mean,
Okay.
you're going to pick up the C10. We may even check back in on you with the C10 because there's
Right.
going to be some plans with the C10. But here's the deal: where you're speaking my language here. You know, you're in my wheelhouse. One of the things that I like to say about the C10s and the C10 Nation is the trucks are cool, but the people are cooler.
Right.
And
right.
and we love these trucks. We love C10s, and Toyotas are cool too. Okay,
Right.
Some reason you found a Toyota, it found you.
Right.
But we love the C10s, and we love the trucks, and we get into the trucks, and then you start to meet the people, and you're like, wow, this is like
Right.
beyond cool. And it's cool to hear you say like, these people have kind of restored your faith in humanity, whether or not you had lost it or not.
That's exactly it.
But now you're like, dude, these fucking people are rad.
Dude, it makes my hair stand up.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's really so when I found out that you were driving through town, I literally had seen the Hoonigan, and I remember like you just rolling into their shop or into their back lot, and you were talking about your fenders and you're talking about the truck. So I'm assuming that's the 24,000 mile trip. And last year or 2 years ago when was that? When you went to Hoonigan?
okay, so like to tell this story takes quite some time. So how long is this podcast? And then I can help manage you.
Honestly, let's do an hour. Let's do an hour. So right now, yeah, we're 5-10 minutes into it. So let's just do an hour. You could talk about Hoonigan. You could talk about, so you know about you, and we have to ask about the cowboy hat because you're from New Hampshire. I don't know.
Right.
You know, and then whether it's Hoonigan, whether it's the Hilux, and then wherever you want to put the C10 in there.
Yeah.
You know, we can kind of get into that too, but it's your time. I'm honored that you're here, and I literally am like, I'll feed you, I won't bathe you, but you can bathe here, and you could stay here because to me, what you're doing, the road trip is so much fun, and it's the journey is merely the destination literally is merely interesting compared to the journey, and that's why I like to do like eastbound and down. I kind of was explaining that to you because. For me, you grab a buddy or two, and now the difference is on Yellowstone, I've got a pretty nice radio, a pretty nice system.
Yep.
I don't think the Hilux really has that much going on there.
It has absolutely nothing. It doesn't even have windshield wipers.
What are you listening to? What are you just listening to the road? You're talking to Justin. What are you doing?
So, you know, whenever you go on a road trip in this truck, so like it's got twin turbos that stick out through the hood, and then hater pipes that just stick straight up in your face.
There is no hood.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So there is no hood.
So there's no hood anymore.
Yeah.
So, like, the hater pipes just point directly in your face. It's got, like, 16 inches of exhaust. And, so, like, you can't really hear anything. It's not, like, it's loud, but it's twin turbo. And turbo's got chambers and baffles, and that actually quiets it down quite a bit. And I've found all these trips I go on, if I take somebody with me, my co-pilot and I, we will pretty much talk the entire time for about, we'll say 2,500 miles. And at that point, we have nothing left to say that's worth saying at that volume. Cause you have to yell. Like you have to speak very loudly. You don't necessarily have to yell, but, you know, we listen to the truck because the truck's broke down so many times that you have to pay attention to it. And if you don't pay attention to that little whistle or that little tick that started getting louder or that little puff of smoke, then that's how you're not going to make it. That's how you're going to fail. You have to catch it before it actually turns into a catastrophe. So we really just pay attention to the truck. It's listening. And, you know, you hold that wheel and you just melt into the machine. You become one with it.
Your personality. So I feel like I'm a pretty okay guy at telling personality. So Josh's personality for the audience, in my mind, could give two shits. I don't feel like you get stressed out at all. I feel like you're just like, dude, I'm going to blow where the wind takes me.
100%.
Now, your co-pilot for at least this non-pickled version is Justin. Justin you can hear him. Maybe the audience can kind of hear him as he approaches. Justin is in the background, whereas Josh is in the foreground. Justin has worked or known Josh for 12 years. We've been hanging out for, let's just say, an hour before we went on the pod. But unfortunately for Justin, he doesn't like stress and is stressed about being stressed about the truck.
That's him.
So there's three levels of stress just with Justin, and you on the other hand are like, dude, we're probably not gonna die on this trip, but let's just see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Send it. Exactly.
So it's kind of a yin and yang with you two.
Yeah, it's pretty funny that, I mean, you picked up pretty clear on that. That's exactly what it is. Like,
yeah.
At least for me, and, well, yeah, for Justin as well. But, like, I don't really care because you can't put me in a worse situation than I've put myself in. You know, when you've been to the bottom and you're not scared of it and you're comfortable with it, like, there's nothing bad that can happen beyond that. Like, you can't get further than the bottom. Like,
although I did hear you just learned how to fly, or at least you think you're a pilot now.
Yeah, well, I am a pilot. I've flown a plane.
I've flown a plane.
So
let's go back. First, tell my audience, tell the C10 Nation, what's with the hat? Let's go there. Like
okay.
Burt Reynolds tribute, or
right?
Was there a lot of cowboys in New Hampshire?
Negative.
Okay. So you guys are from New Hampshire, and you own an off-road. Is that?
Yeah. So Vague Industries is my business, and we kind of, I named it Vague Industries because I didn't want to indirectly limit myself. I didn't want to do Josh's custom 4x4 fabrication because, like, although you can do anything with a name, you pretty indirectly limit yourself when you go to market yourself. So Vague Industries allows me to do anything. And we just started manufacturing our own coilover shocks. We're making our own forged aluminum wheels. We do laser cut CNC bent chassis. We do a lot of different stuff, and we've recently started venturing into this whole television personality type, this whole world. And a name like Vague Industries doesn't really limit us, but what Vague Industries is known for, and what I personally specialize in, is chassis and suspension. So what I am best at above anything is kind of the structural engineering of building, performance off-road race chassis, and all the suspension, link geometry, steering, all of that stuff.
Is that your background?
I don't know if you call. Yeah, actually, you know what? So when recently, a couple years ago, my folks were moving out of their house and they were digging around in the basement and they found a bunch of old artifacts from when I was in elementary school. And they found a journal that my teachers...
So like 87 or what?
So I was born in 87.
Okay, so 95?
Right, yeah. Yeah, so just a boy.
I'm an old man.
Yeah.
He's a young buck.
So my folks had found a journal that my teachers had written for me before I could write. And it was in kindergarten. And it said, Josh likes to color. Josh made a friend named Christopher. Josh wants to be when he grows up. And it had check boxes. It had, policeman, fireman, secretary, nurse. And mine was checked other and written in build monster trucks. Not drive monster trucks or be a baseball player or build them. And before we found this little journal, my earliest recollection of what I wanted to be was from 5th grade when we went around the class and said, what do you want to be when you go up? And they said, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a fireman.
Hey, take it easy. I'm a fireman.
When
you say,
I want to be a fireman.
Yeah. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a fireman.
Yeah, all right. So on the same page now. So I said, I want to build suspension. And I didn't even really know what suspension was back then. I was in 5th grade.
How did you, how did you get into this? You just watched monster truck cartoons or what?
Yeah, I had all the monster truck toys and, my dad had a lifted Toyota pickup, which is sort of where my love for toys started.
Like Back to the Future? What year?
Yeah.
87?
Yep, the 84 to 88.
Oh, yeah. Pretty rad.
And when I was 9 years old, him and I did a frame-up restoration and a solid axle swap, and it cut the IFS out, leaf springs, and he ordered some, super lift, 6-inch rear springs for it. And when they showed up, I was the first person to see him on the porch, and I just sort of checked them out, didn't know really what they were. And then when my dad came home and I saw how psyched he was that his springs came in, I was like, okay, these are good. These are cool.
Dad likes springs.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? He's like, it's a suspension lift. I was like, oh, the suspension's good. I want to build this. And for most of my youth, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to build suspension, but then I started becoming more realistic about it and realizing that nobody's hiring for people to build suspension for the most part. So then I was like, okay, well, what's more realistic? How can I build cool things? I'll be a machinist. They make cool things. So I went to work as a machinist when I studied deeply in high school. I had some internships. Like, I went hardcore into manual machining, so I understood it when I went to CNC. And what that really taught me was tolerances, like what really matters and what doesn't. Unfortunately, it made me too tight for many years for automotive tolerances, but it taught me precision. So
to me, when you say too tight, did you learn that you don't need to be that tight? Meaning you can get away with the automotive perspective, and I don't mean this like your work is not tight, meaning that there is some more tolerance there than a machine or a machinist is a little too tight. Like Justin is so tight that he would be a machinist, whereas you're like, that's not me.
Yeah, so I went like so far on one end of the spectrum, I just had to do perfect on everything I did, the best that I could do. And not to say that I hack stuff together now, but I now have a better understanding of where you need to loosen up. So like automotive stuff flexes and twists and moves around. So if you make a perfectly machined, piece that bolts in, by the time you drive it down the road, unbolt it, it's not really going to want to bolt back in because the stress relieves and all this stuff. So what I found is that I was making all my bolt holes too tight, and like I had, 3/1000 clearance. I'm like, that's a lot of clearance on a machined part, but that's no clearance on an automotive part. But so I started to dial things back, and instead of going to school, like a tech school or something like Wyotech or UTI or any of those, I decided to go get a job that taught me how to do the skills I needed. And I bounced around career to career, did 6 months, learned 80% of what they had to teach me. The other 20% was going to come in the next 10 years of working there, and I just didn't have that time to invest. So, as a early, I don't know what you want to call that. When I was like 19, 20, early 20s, that's what I did. I just got a job that paid me to learn the skills that I wanted to learn instead of paying somebody to teach me.
I'm loving this, man. So first of all, you met my son, and I mean, this is exactly, it's like the world's going this fast. I want to go faster. I want to learn as much as I can. Yeah. And you're like, well, I learned it. I'll figure it out. And then there's tolerances built in. So you're obviously, you knew, which is really cool, because I think a lot of young men that are 18 to 24 have
idea.
No fucking idea.
Not a clue.
They don't have an idea what they're going to do, and they want to have an idea, and they're like, I don't have an idea. And you're like, not only do I have an idea, I want to build rad shit, and I'm going to find out how I can do it. Right. And so Chuck can be in college or, ITT Tech or Wyotech or whatever it is, and you're like, or I can go down and learn from Fred how to, be a machinist, how to do this, how to weld, how to TIG, how to MIG, and you're doing all this.
So what happened? Like, I signed up for Wyotech. I wanted their chassis fab program and their high performance engine program, and they, some of my buddies came back from school and they're like, oh man, it was the best. I learned so much and we did all this cool stuff. And then when they started to run into a bind, guess who they called? Yeah. They called me, and they're like, wait a minute, you spent $32,000 in 6 months learning this, and you're asking me? So that's when I canceled and changed my whole game plan up. Like, I'm just going to go get paid to learn it.
So did you guys have like Josh's little shop, or you and your dad kind of had a little thing going?
We had a little one-car garage that we tinkered in. And then I was like a couple weeks away from like moving to Australia. I was just done. I wanted to...
Australia?
Yep.
What were you going to learn there?
I don't know how to wrangle kangaroos. So
that's where the hat comes in.
That's where the hat comes
in.
Sweet. So, I was riding my bicycle down the center of town because I was a freestyle BMX rider, backflips, tail whips, that stuff. And, there was a shop for lease. And
you're 19, 20?
Like 20, I think.
Right,
20,
cool.
Maybe 21. And, I went to some of my friends that we had like bullshitted about getting together and getting a shop. I was like, hey, do you actually want to do this? Cause like, this is available. So then we did. And then everybody sort of backed out, over a few months. And then it was just me. And
This is like a one car shop, 2-car shop, little shop.
3,000 square feet.
Oh, so that's a big shop.
Decent.
And this is in New Hampshire?
This is
Where
in New
at?
Hampshire. Yeah. So this was in Troy, New Hampshire.
And how big? I have no idea. Like
tiny town.
Okay. Like 1,000 people, 2,000, 5,000?
Yeah, like 1,000 people.
All right, cool. And that's where you grew up?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, and Justin, you grew up there too?
Sloan.
Smaller town.
Sloan?
Sullivan.
Oh, Sullivan.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to make sure I got you here so people don't think I'm just
No,
keep
right.
calling about Justin. So Justin's in the background. He doesn't
Well, I
want
was
to...
originally born in Rhode Island. I moved to New Hampshire when I was 17.
Hey guys, have you heard about Marque's new square body molding? Guess what? You could check it out. Squarebodymolding.com. Squarebodymolding.com. Something that's been in the works and it's finally out. It debuted at SEMA 2018 on SSO2. The highest quality trim you can get for your square body. And it gets even better. Right now, you could save $250 off your complete square body molding kit. Whether that's short bed, long bed, Blazers, Suburbans, or even crew cabs. That's it. Squarebodymolding.com. Pre-sale, painted to match. If you like that 1 year 1977 yellow, they'll have that too. So if you've been looking for the best for your square body trim, head on over to squarebodymolding.com. I use precision replacement parts on my builds because I demand quality and I demand precision. If you want the best weather stripping, demand precision. PRP.com. It's that easy. PRP.com. Seriously, check this out. OEM designed parts. It's easy to install, and you have a lifetime warranty. Everything from windshield seals, rear window seals, door seals, roof rail seals, vent window seals, beltline molding, glass run channels, trunk seals, hood decal. You need it, they've got it. They also have their vent window refurbishing program. You send in your wing windows, and they send them back, and they're completely rebuilt, disassembled, sandblasted, painted, and they replace and install new weather stripping, new glass, and handles. Talk about quality, talk about precision, and that's why I use Precision Replacement Parts. PRP.com. And follow them on social media as well.
Cool. So New Hampshire is crazy to me in the perspective of I just wonder about how you guys have been coming out west and the difference, you know.
Oh,
and,
man.
And I'm sure we could get into a whole nother episode, but I think it's rad that you guys, first of all, I expect that there would be like some sort of like, accent, and there's really not out of you guys. I mean, a little bit out of Justin, but you guys don't have really that much accent from what I would think from New Hampshire, and I don't know what to say. What I would think that would be, and maybe I have an Arizonian accent, but I just think it's cool. I just think the journey again, back to the journey, and then you guys are so back on track. You have to keep me on track. That's your job. So hold on, we have to do this. All right, good. Okay.
All right, so. You know, I started building chassis, is basically where it came to. You know, I landed on this current business I've been doing for creeping up on 4 years now. It's finally grown into itself. We still have plenty of growing pains, of course, because we're always developing.
So 21, you start a shop.
Ish, yeah.
Ish, and 4 years ago, you're only like 25, or what are you now?
Well, there was a handful of, there was 4 years or so with that shop. That shop burned down. I lost everything. At the time, I didn't have insurance. I owed a bunch of people hundreds and hundreds in the hole. I owed a boatload
hundreds
of people.
and hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Because of work that was...
Yeah, I mean, the shop was full of brand new Duramax that, you know, we had cut up, solid axle swap, basically melted, you know, a fully restored 1932 GMC pickup. There was a...
it burned down, because you had complete trucks in there, and so there was no insurance. But they had insurance.
Yeah, so some of them did.
Hopefully.
Yeah, some of them did. Some of them did not, but ultimately it was my job to make it right. Like, I could have been a total D-bag and just walked away and ran from it all, but I have a conscience, and like that stuff comes back to you, and it might not come back for another 10 years, but it will come back. So it was miserable for several years. I knuckled down. I ended up getting a job at a performance racing engine shop as a machinist, and I installed sleeves in engine blocks. Basically, it was only for like high performance stuff. It wasn't like sleeving diesel engines. We did a lot of imports, some aluminum LS stuff. Basically, if you're going to boost it and you're going to make over 1,000 horse, we sleeved it. And I sleeved about 750 blocks.
Very boring for a guy like you to me. From well, I'm seeing a guy like you that doesn't want, like 2 days, you're like, all right, I'm on to the next thing. So you did this for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years?
So it took me about 3.5 years or so to come out of this hole, and get back to zero. And I sort of said that I wasn't going to start another shop just because, like, I was a great fabricator and a good builder and designer, but, like, wasn't so good with business. Because I started a business when I was 21. I didn't even know how the world worked. And then, I paid attention. I learned a lot from, I pay attention to, I surround myself with people who I admire for one reason or another. And if you don't fit into that category, I don't see you much. Because like I want a self-development, I want to get better at whatever I do.
Yeah.
So, I paid attention a lot to some of the people in my life that were successful, and I learned quite a bit. So I said I wasn't going to start a shop, but then like all the cards landed in my lap at the same time that said, if you don't start a shop, it's a self-destructive move. So I ended up starting Vague Industries. We build endurance off-road race vehicles and something called Pro Mega Trucks. The Pro Mega Trucks are basically a lighter, faster, more nimble, higher horsepower monster truck. They long travel suspension, big axles, 50-inch tall tires, 1,000 to 2,500 horsepower.
So is this something like a Baja truck or
no,
a little bit bigger?
So we're West Coast right now. So it's bigger than the Baja truck. Picture a monster truck.
I feel like Robbie Gordon is the first thing I think of.
No more desert.
That's a circle track, dirt track then?
Yeah, no, wrong.
No. Okay,
no.
you tell me where we're going.
Delete everything you know about motorsports.
You drive,
except for monster
you
trucks.
tell me.
Yeah,
all right, big monster truck.
Picture a monster truck.
Okay.
Take them big 66 by 44 inch wide tires off it and put a 50-inch tall tire that's like 15 inches wide on it.
Okay.
Still a tractor tire, deep V-treads.
But the truck itself is still that big.
But it's still a full-size truck body on it.
Yeah.
And, they're lowered a little bit, so they're a little more nimble. But that's basically what a Pro Mega Truck is.
Motor in the middle, motor...
So there is no standard. Most of them are motor in the front because the cognitive capacity within that industry hasn't really caught up to where they should. So anyways, we build a lot of Pro Mega Trucks.
Okay.
Or we build some. And that's kind of our main gig. And we're starting to build coilover shocks for that industry, for that whole corner, because all of the shocks that are marketed towards Pro Mega Trucks are total BS. They're like hydraulic rams with holes in the pistons. The manufacturers of these shocks know how to make chips and to sell product. They have no idea how a shock is supposed to work. And I've been going around and tuning a lot of these trucks. Because
that's some serious accusations.
Yeah, and I'll say it to their face.
Right.
And they've come to me for advice, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this, and I just sort of dance around in a circle because, like, do I give you my secrets?
Yeah,
or
you're tuning them. You're getting them to be the best that they can for what's not good.
Yeah, for what's there, like, we're just working with what we got, and, like, they're close. But really what I've noticed is, like, there's a corner here that I can capitalize on. So we started going down the road of we've got a limited production run all done.
Vague shocks or what?
Vague Industries branded Elite Series coilovers.
All right.
We're not in full production yet, but it's not limited to Pro Mega Trucks, but definitely marketed towards, and we have some features on the shocks that are far superior than any other brand. Even major West Coast pre-runner type brands.
So I always try to think, okay, if I'm listening to this podcast right now, what do I want to know? If I'm listening, who's running these pro trucks? Who's running these little mini monster big truck? Is that something back east where
it's
you
primarily
tune in and boom, they're on TV. The guys are going to the fairgrounds or on the show. Who's running them?
So currently, it's all independent teams. It hasn't been organized well enough quite yet for corporate money to be involved. Any sort of syndication. small events that the owners and promoters of the events sort of get together and haphazardly make miniature series. But recently, in the past year or so, there's a series called Southern Mud Outlaws. And we're going to be seeing more of... There's a new show. When is this podcast going to air?
Let's say I've got one to go out. I don't know even how I could get it out, but tomorrow... or tonight.
We're talking weeks or days or months?
No, a couple weeks.
Okay.
Let's say 3 weeks.
So, well...
whatever time you need.
Yeah, whatever. So there's a new show coming out that's similar to Street Outlaws.
Okay, but it's these guys.
Yeah, but
All
it's
right, cool.
Pro Mega Trucks.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
So you'll be able to see it, and it'll be mainstream very soon.
And it'll be on a big channel.
A major network, yes.
Okay, cool.
So,
and you are one of 10 builders of these trucks, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of backyard builders and building their own. But as far as professional builders, there's only a half dozen of them that are even reputable.
So a lot of times, for you to become a builder, this is something you really, you liked, you dug, you were into it.
Because it's grassroots right now. Like, I've been involved with Ultra 4 to some degree since conception. And back in the day when it was grassroots and you could build your own vehicle in your garage and compete and potentially win in a $30,000 truck, which is, those days are long gone. But this is sort of what the Pro Mega Trucks are doing. They're in that puberty phase right now where it's probably the fastest growing motorsport in the country right now because it's, you and me can go in the garage and build a truck or call up Vague Industries and say, hey, I want one of your Pro Series race chassis or whatever. And you can put a truck together with your buddies and go compete and go win. So most of these are in like fairgrounds.
Yeah.
They are between grandstands. It's a spectator-oriented sport. It's not like a big, long endurance race like rally racing, desert racing, Ultra 4.
So they stay in a stadium?
Yeah, stay in a small stadium or fairgrounds or something like that where you can see the entire race from your seat in the grandstands. And these trucks are getting nastier and nastier, and they're starting to dial them in. They're starting to put real money into them. Sponsors are starting to take notice. So, like, it's growing very fast.
So I'm almost thinking, like, I've been to the big monster truck shows.
Yep.
It's loud, and they're going very slow, and it's cool. And,
yep.
What's the guy, the Gravedigger?
Yeah,
okay,
Gravedigger.
So Gravedigger, right?
Yep.
So then you think back to Robbie Gordon,
Yep.
or whoever is the most famous dirt circle inner guy, and I'm seeing the two morphed,
Yep.
and I've got a monster truck that's freaking hauling ass in.
You know the SST, Robbie Gordon series?
Mm-hmm.
That mixed with monster trucks is what it is.
Okay.
So the Pro Mega trucks haven't yet gone door-to-door racing. There's still like timed laps. Some tracks they will run two trucks at once, but they're in different lanes. But
that's cool.
It's still cool. Yeah,
yeah.
You're still neck to neck.
Yeah.
It's coming. The door-to-door racing's coming, and I don't see it coming this year, but a few years from now it'll be coming. It's basically going to be SST and monster trucks mixed.
Well, like you said, it's in its beginning phase, the
Yep.
puberty of it, and it's only going to grow, and it might be, if not, it is the fastest growing motorsport out there. We're going to find out.
Yep.
East Coast is leading the way. West Coast, watch out. How the hell, I've had hundreds of guests on this show. Out of the hundreds of guests that I've had, 50% of them are business owners.
Right.
They can't leave and go drive across country for months at a time.
Right.
How can you do that?
So what I think is funny is I've been a glutton for punishment and these endurance road trips for many years now. And the past couple years, I've done more than I probably should have. But I've heard to my face, people have asked me, what, are you some trust fund baby? Or how do you fund this? And if they're saying it to my face, I can't imagine how many people are saying it, around the campfire behind my back.
I'm saying it to your face right now.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
So it's basically what we started going down this road of sort of entertainment and personality, and so like I'll host events or I'll run a microphone or there was an event in North Dakota or South Dakota that they called me up and they said, how much does it cost to get you out here? So like I started to become a personality and half internet celebrity.
Did that blow you away at that point? Once you got the first call that said, I want you to come hold a mic and be MC the lawnmower races at the North Dakota County Fair.
Right. So,
you're like, are you kidding me?
So what? Kind of, but I've been working towards that for many, many years, and now that it's finally all the pieces are starting to come together,
You're blowing up. That's Willis. He's like, where the fuck are you, dude?
So now that like all these, I'm starting to understand how marketing works, how like real business works, and I'm starting to be able to put all these pieces of the puzzle together, and they're all snapping together real fast, and it was more of a relief to me when I got that phone call, that all the hard work I've put in is paying off. So basically, I'll go back to the shop, and I've got one guy that works for me, one really good guy, Fat Eric, and I would trade him for nothing. He makes this whole thing go round. He doesn't go on the road trips. He stays back and works. When I get back to the shop, for a few months, I play catch up. And then the next event, hey, we need you out here for this TV show. Hey, we need you for this event. That is when I take off. But I can't take off unless like the shop is in a position where I can go for however long it's going to take me to do this next mission. Also on the missions, I always try to work in like a paid gig, whether it's delivering an engine to Tennessee on the way that pays for most of my expenses, or the reason why I'm here, which is I'm driving this wild twin turbo LS Hilux from New Hampshire all the way down to Dallas, where I drop off a turbo 5.3 liter with Emily and Aaron Reeves of Flying Sark's Garage, and then I continue out to LA, leave the Hilux in LA. I'm getting in a 1966 Chevrolet C10 pickup. It's a two-wheel drive, step-side short bed, was 3 on the tree, had been converted to 4-speed. It currently doesn't run, so tomorrow I have to get out to LA, make it run, and then I have to drive it in stock form from LA all the way back to Dallas to go see Emily and Aaron, where they are going to help me install this turbocharged 5.3 liter in it.
The one that you already brought.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Did you build it, or did you acquire it in New Hampshire?
I acquired it in New Hampshire, and I got the harness all stripped down. I got the turbo kit on it. So it's like kind of pre-prepped to just drop in. And like we're using the stock transmission that's in it. Like we're going to use the mechanical fan,
So it converted from a 3 on the tree. It's now running a 4-speed.
Yep.
And you're going to use that tranny.
Yeah, so we don't have to build shift linkage, clutch linkage. We don't have to build drive shaft, transmission mount. Like, it saves a bunch of work. I don't have to run transmission lines for an automatic.
And this is going to be your truck?
So this is a client's truck. So this is where the job thing comes in.
Okay. New Hampshire client?
So it's actually somebody that I went to high school with in New Hampshire, and he now lives in California, and he's been trying to get me to do this to his truck forever. And now that I've got this whole television personality thing starting to roll, I was like, this is a great opportunity for some amazing content.
Yeah.
I've got my own show coming on Amazon Prime called Death Wish. In the meantime, I've been working with a YouTube company called Busted Knuckle Films. They're massive YouTube channel. They're like 400 million view channel a year, so huge. And we've been putting my episodes on their channel right now, just as teasers. Like the first one we put out had 1 million views. I met this guy with a lawnmower with a Gixxer motor in it, and we crashed it, and it was actually really awesome.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
It was stupid.
All right, cool.
So now that I've sort of
you'll be on the Busted Knuckle Films channel, or you'll have your own channel?
Yeah, so I'm on the Busted Knuckle Films channel. Okay. The show's called Death Wish. We've got probably 6-7 episodes filmed. 2 are published. 3 or 4 are produced. So it's a moving target.
So right now, I don't see a camera crew with you per se, but are they filling in, or you guys are kind of doing more of a documentary on this trip?
Yeah, so it's kind of our whole goal with this is we want to identify with the common man. We don't want to go so far TV that we lose people. So what we're doing is we're doing a self-filmed type thing, sort of amateur film, because you're not going to have that super cinematic feel, so that it also lowers expectations. If you have this perfect
Don't give away all your secrets.
Yeah. No, screw it, man. Like,
But it really does, right?
Yeah.
It really does. That's why Roadkill.
Yeah, they've
To
won
me,
through failure.
Yeah, they've completely won, and it's like, listen, if you can't love me for who I am, don't love me at all. And
100%.
And there's this, like you said, you alluded to it earlier, and I was just freaking dying inside. The hater pipes, the hater tubes, the hater. It's like, dude, there's so many haters out there, and the motto that I live by every day is called the man in the arena. If you don't know it, look it up, the man in the arena. The bottom line is, you're in the arena right now.
Right.
There's people in the grandstands, whether they're watching Pro Max trucks or whatever, Pro Mega trucks.
Yeah.
But they're in the arena, and their ass is sitting in the arena. They're not in the truck. You're
Right.
in the truck, whether it's the Hilux, whether it's the monster truck, whatever
Right.
it is, your ass is in that truck.
Right.
So if you make a move, whether it's good, bad, fast, ugly, slow, whatever, you're the one in that truck.
Right.
And it's like people sit there and they're like, oh, he should have turned right there.
Yeah.
Listen, dickhead.
He should have put a filter on those turbos.
Yeah.
You know how many times I've heard that? So,
Oh,
like,
my God.
I intentionally...
Oh, dude, I wanted to talk to you. Why don't you have filters on your turbos?
No, okay, that's good. Because I'll tell everybody in the world.
So hold on. So for the C10 Nation and for all Hilux fans and everybody who loves Josh, he's got the 77 6.0 has these two big old freaking turbos.
70 millimeter.
70 millimeters. Are they Chinese?
Oh, yeah.
All right, sweet. So they're Chinese turbos, and then he's got the hater tubes, and he's pushing out 1100 RPM, or horsepower, just so you know where we're coming from.
So,
And he doesn't even have filters on him.
no filters. They're hanging way above the hood. And the reason why I don't run a filter is, well, I've put 28,000 miles on the truck, and the turbos are still in the same condition that they were when I bought them. So I don't run a filter because everybody asks, why don't you have a filter?
It's a great conversational
did
piece.
did you catch a bird in there? What about rocks? What happens when it rains? And really all that does is it feeds the social algorithm. It picks up, it rewards for engagement. Next thing you know, you get 1 million views on your video because people hated that you didn't have a filter on it. And so there's a handful of things that I do like that. Everything's kind of a marketing
So what I have realized is you don't stress about stress or anything. Justin does that, but you are overthinking some of this. You're definitely thinking about the haterade, the hater tubes, and you're living off of that. Bottom line is, it's working, and I don't know how anybody can hate you because you're freaking hilarious and you're a good dude. I could tell that, and you're just down for a good time.
That's 100%.
That's really what it's like, dude. Life is short. Let's have fun while we're here.
Way short.
So I'm assuming you're gay or single, one of the two, because there's no way no girls putting up with this shit.
Yeah, no, they hate it. I'm like
The boyfriend or the girlfriend?
girlfriend.
Okay,
girls,
girlfriend. All
girls only. I'm not.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Of that persuasion.
Back to that. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, chronically single.
That's a whole different hater group of haters. That's a whole different class of haters. All right, he digs chicks, but chicks probably aren't down for the long term here.
Well, I mean, especially I'm 32 now, or
Oh, you're getting up there, dude.
yeah, I'm gonna be 32 in Sunday.
Oh,
Saturday.
sweet. So coming up.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
And at this age, chicks seem to want the picket fence, the child, the dog,
They want some commitment.
and that's just not where my life is. It's not that I'm not a committed individual, but like I'm kind of on the run right now. Not from anything, but I can't settle down. I can't work a 9 to 5 and come home and invest in that lifestyle.
Have you heard about a show or heard or watched it called Free Solo?
Negative.
Okay. I don't think you're going to die, even though you are, having a show called Death Wish.
Okay.
I don't see you sitting down watching a lot of TV.
Negative. None.
I would really like you to watch a show called Free Solo.
How can I watch it?
I think Amazon Prime, it's on Nat Geo, National Geographic. It's probably in the last month, I would think, the most downloaded or watched show
Okay.
out there. You are like an automotive version of the guy in Free Solo.
Huh.
Yeah, you remind me of what is his name? I want to say his name's Aaron, but I think I'm drawing a blank on his name. But I don't want to spoil it, but a guy likes to climb, and he climbs without a rope.
Okay.
And he's really not, he's got a girlfriend, but he's not really down for a lot of long term. The funniest quote is he just says, well, if it comes down to her climbing, I mean, it's obviously climbing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like,
so
if it comes down to her or my career, I literally just had this like a couple months ago. Like it came down to her or the career, and like I've invested 31 years of my life into this. I've got 6 months into you. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give up 31 years of investment.
But I think, too, you seem to be the type of guy it's like, okay, here, just so you know, I met you. I like you, you like me. Okay, here, let me have you read this disclaimer, okay? But then they think, well, no way, you're not going to you're not going to change. It's me.
Yes. Well,
so, good luck with that.
It's that. Exactly. And it's not like I was hiding my lifestyle. Like, you liked me because I do all these cool adventures. Like, now when it's time for me to do a cool adventure for 3 months and you're sad that I'm not there, yeah, I'm sad too, but... So
this cool adventure includes a C10.
Yeah.
It includes a 66 C10, and you don't even know if it's running. It's not running.
I've never seen the truck. I heard from the owner today that it does not run. And he doesn't have time to work on it. He might have some time to tinker with it tomorrow, but it sounds like when he's tinkering with it tomorrow night, I should be there anyways, so I'll be doing it.
Well, that's like status quo, though, for you.
Yeah.
Right? The norm. This is the norm. You're almost like, I don't even want it to be running.
Yeah.
Because this adds to the story.
100%.
And it's a Chevy. I mean, it's going to run.
Right. So
it's not going to take that much.
Yeah, I had him put a cup of gas down the carburetor, and he says it runs. So, like, it's a plugged up carburetor or a torn diaphragm in the fuel pump.
Yeah.
So, like, it can't be anything serious. So I got to drive this truck from LA all the way to Dallas to Emily and Aaron's, where we're going to put the Turbo 5.3 in it. And then I'm going to get in this thing and drive it back to Tucson, where I got a buddy, Hawkspeed and Custom, that is going to help me put a lowering kit in it. We're going to drop spindles with power disc brakes. It's going to be 2.5 inches in the front, 4 inches in the back, just enough to give it that relaxed look. And then we're going to put power steering in it. And then we're going to continue driving it all the way back to LA, where I will pick up with the Hilux, that C10. A good friend of mine, Matt Henry with Imperial Beach Dad, he's got this LS powered first gen Mustang, and we are going to cannonball to LS Fest in Vegas. It's May 3rd,
3, 4, 5.
Yep.
So the 66. Do you know like what kind of drop you're going to put on it? You're going to put different spindles on it, 4-6 drop.
So this is how I did it. Because I have a business to run back home, and I'm doing some of that remotely. Fat Eric is there handling the majority of the work. But
thank you, Fat Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Fat Eric. Thank you very much. I try to delegate as much as I can to other people who will, whether it's paid or not. And I went to Owen Hawk, who owns Hawkspeed and Custom.
Did you know him?
Yeah, he actually helped me out with the Hilux at like I was trying to get to the filming of the 3K Hoopty Challenge with Motor Trend last year, and I was 7 hours away from Tucson, and this dude, random stranger, Owen, found out that I was potentially not going to make it because I was going to get stranded in West Texas desert with no fuel pump, and he was ready. He was like sitting on the phone waiting for me to say I can't make it. He was going to grab his truck and trailer and drive 7 hours there and 7 hours back to make sure that I made it to the race. Total stranger. So ended up becoming decent friends with him. And when I got a hold of him because he's on my route to and from LA, and said, hey, I've got this C10 project and I'm doing it on the road. Do you want to be part of it? And when he said, hell yeah, I'm in, I said, this is what I need from you. I have X dollars. I need you to find me everything to lower it, put power disc brakes on it, and power steering. And he says, got it. And he sent me a bill. I gave him the money. I don't even know what parts they are.
We're assuming they're classic performance products.
I'm assuming they are.
Yeah,
yes.
they're probably CPP products, and that would be perfect. A little 4-6 drop, a little 2.5 modular spindle, a little power steering, everything.
Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure they are.
I mean, they probably are.
Yeah.
It's easily the best bang for the buck. You saw my son's 66.
Yeah.
66, step side, short bed, the same thing you're working on. He's getting a 4-6 drop, CPP. Yeah. It's really the best bang for your buck. And when you're looking to take a truck that's drum brakes, and right. You're like, holy shit, this thing. I mean, you stop on a drum brake truck, and it's like shitters and shutters, and you're like, holy crap. So you upgrade to, whether you're going to keep it 6-lug or not. Yeah. Are you keeping the same stock wheels, or what are you going to do to this thing?
Yeah,
oh,
so like, because we're only doing 2.5 and 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
really,
like,
2.5 and 4.
Just enough to.
You should reconsider.
Yeah.
Well, 4.6. I mean,
I already bought it. They've already been delivered.
It's not that much of a difference. I can make a call, but I can make a really quick call. The deal is, first of all, you got plenty of time because you haven't even got to the truck. And by the way, when you get to the truck, you should go see CPP while you're there because they're in California.
Right.
So when you're there, you can get whatever you want and you could put it in the truck and then deliver it back to, obviously you're going to go back through Tucson. You really can't get to Emily and Aaron's without going through Tucson,
Right.
but we could talk about that off air. The bottom line is, anymore, if you look at a stock C10, it looks like a 4-wheel drive, not a Pro Max. Is that what it is, Pro Max series?
I'm not certain.
No, what are your trucks that you build?
Pro Mega truck.
Pro Mega. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
Pro Mega, but when you look at a stock C10, it looks like a Pro Mega. It looks like it's a 4-wheel drive truck. And then you look at a 2.4, you're like, nah. My thought is 4.6. We can look at it, but
Yeah.
the bottom line is either way, you're going to give it a little bit of height adjustment.
Yep.
You're going to put a 4.3 in it, or a 5.3, sorry.
Yep.
And you're going to keep the 4-speed.
Right. And a
Disc brakes.
and a tiny Chinese turbo.
Oh, you are going to turbo it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that
cool.
was a last minute decision.
All right. What size? Like a 60?
Yeah, like 66 or
Oh,
something
alright,
like that.
cool.
I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's very small and it will only make a couple pounds of boost, which is all he wants. He wants choo-choo noises and a little bit like.
And this guy, what is his name? Can we
His name's Adam.
Okay, Adam. Is Adam coming from California, driving the truck in the
No.
caravan?
Nope. Adam has work to do, and I'm probably gonna leave my truck at Adam's house.
No, rewind. You said the Hilux and Adam's truck are going
Caravanning
to
okay.
LS Fest.
Yeah. I thought you were asking if it was going to Dallas.
No. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you're going to go to Dallas, then you're going to go back and pick up Adam in Cali, and then you guys are all going to LS Fest West.
Yeah. So he's going to have his brand new, like, updated resto mod ride type thing.
Sweet.
At LS Fest.
C10.
Yeah,
We are C10 talk.
Yeah, this is C10.
Yeah.
This
isn't Hilux talk.
What if this? Yeah. What if it was a C20? Like
It would be fine. Now you just picked a fight with me.
Go on.
A C10 and a C20 or a 30 or a 40 or a 50. They don't really have 40s, but they do have 50s. They
35.
all come from the... No, there's no 35.
No?
Well, if it's a GMC. For some reason, GMC
Okay.
doesn't. But the bottom line
So
is...
now there's an exception.
No, but it's all the same cab. I get so tired of people like, well, you can't have a K10. It's like, it's all the same. It's just that the C10 is the name. So it's C10 talk, and then in parentheses, it's C10, C20, C30, C50, K10, K20, K30. Yeah, it's all in parentheses down low. They just can't see it.
60 and 70 in there too, I believe.
There's 60. I don't think there's a 70.
Yeah.
We can look it up. Do
70
you want to bet? $1 bet?
Yeah.
$1 bet.
Sure.
On a what year though? Because maybe a square. I don't know. I don't think
There's a
there's
square body.
I don't think there's a K70 or a C70. I got some killer C50 emblems down below. I'll show you. So my dad had 2 form trucks growing up. He had a 1967 form truck and a 1974 form truck. They were these big old C50s. Look that shit up.
I'm
dude.
looking it up right now.
He's looking it up right now. So we're betting $1?
Yeah, sure.
All right, sweet. So we have $1 bet. A dollar bet is always the best because that's like a gentleman's bet, but there's actually money involved. So he's saying there is a C70. I don't believe that there is. I think that there's a C. Oh, she's getting ready to show me that I'm wrong. And there is a C70 in a square body, which really is a dump truck dually. So
And I know they made a four-wheel drive version of
medium
one as well.
duty. Oh, you know, a 4-wheel drive, would that be like our tech right now is working on a crew cab that was like a Wildland truck, fire department truck, and our tech's got a 4-door there that he's working on right now. C70, I'm wrong. C10 talk.
Pay up, sucker.
Pay up, sucker. All right, I'm going to give you 100 pennies, fucker.
Hey, I got a road. What do we got for time?
We're fine. Don't worry about
Okay,
it. Your
so-
time is my time.
So I do these road trips all the time, right? So I have a friend in Maryland, which I worked with for several years when I worked at that racing engine shop. And he sort of looked up to me as a big brother because he was like 18, 19 years old. And he didn't know how to drift. He didn't know like anything about life. He like just a farm boy. And he got stuff done, but no experience yet. And so he's like my little brother. And we do something, and that's the base of the story. I'm going to have to tell another story to come back to the story.
All right. I like this type.
Okay.
I'm all over the board. So
All right, yeah,
let's
I see
see if
that.
the
So-
audience can hang tight on
Okay,
this.
so we do something.
And what's his name?
His name is Aaron.
Aaron always helps. And so Aaron,
Yes.
we have Fat Eric, Aaron, Justin, and Josh.
Right.
Good luck keeping up with
And
that.
Adam. So
Adam, where's Adam?
he owns a C10. That's why I'm here.
Oh, Adam.
Pay attention.
From California.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay.
Oh, and Aaron and Emily.
Right.
Come on, don't forget.
Okay, so anyways, I had a group of friends from South Shore, Mass, which is just south of Boston. I'm in New Hampshire. It's 99 miles away from my address.
Sounds like Goodwill Hunting all over again.
And every weekend they used to come up to my shop. I had like the world's most expensive clubhouse, and we partied every weekend in my shop, and there was chicken bones and beer cans everywhere. It was awful.
Does this have anything to do with it burning down? I am a firefighter.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. So these guys told me that, oh, on Thanksgiving, we all do burnouts. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And that was it. And then I was there with my best friend at the time. This is over 10 years ago.
This isn't Aaron. Aaron is your best friend now. He's your little brother.
Different. I'm not going to give. Okay, so there's a different guy.
Okay.
And
what's his name?
Thanks. Greg.
Is all right. Greg and Aaron.
So there was a different. There was a Thanksgiving Eve, and we're at the shop working. It's getting late. I'm like, man, I hate my family. I hate my family. I don't want to go to Thanksgiving. I don't want to go to Thanksgiving. So we're like, hey, what about that burnout thing that Sean says he does down in South Shore? We're like, yeah, it's only 2 hours away. Let's go. And it was like 10:30 at night. We took off. It's pouring down rain. We got a flat tire. It was a big disaster to go 100 miles. And we finally made it to my buddy's place at 4:30 in the morning. We walk into his room. There's like a bunch of people crashed out everywhere. And I lay down on the floor to go to sleep. But the movie Convoy is on, so I can't go to sleep. I have to finish watching.
Legendary movie.
Right. So
Convoy.
now it's like 6:30. And big fat Joe Molyneux comes busting through the door and he goes, yeah, burnouts. I'm like, F you, buddy. Like, I am going to sleep. And he jumps on us. And now it causes this big commotion. Everybody sort of starts to get up. I'm like, no, I'm going to sleep. It's 6:30 in the morning. I drove all night. I'm not getting up. And then everybody starts getting up. They're like, no, Josh, seriously, you gotta get up. It's burnouts. It's 6:30. So we all get up and we go outside and we get in big fat Joe Molyneux's, had like a 2500 Cummins truck with a 6-speed with 31-inch generic terrains on it, and like not a burnout machine. And we all load into that and we go to, quote, the meat spot.
So you drove not a burnout truck. You came to just watch, not participate.
I took my rally car down.
All right.
So we go to this meat spot. And there's Jersey barriers across it, and they're all going, whoa, that's weird. I wonder where... And we drive in the grass. We go to the end. It's this cul-de-sac. And there was this 1965 Chevy van, plum crazy purple, straight six in it, with 31-inch generic terrains on the back. And then the other vehicle there was an old CJ5 that was sprung over in the front with 35s and sprung under in the back with 31-inch airplane tires on it. And I'm like real disappointed because I got no sleep and I'm here for burnouts with like these things. And
these two dads who are like, burnouts!
Yeah. And,
you know what I love about high school girls?
So they're all
talking the same age.
So they're all like, oh, where is everybody? And I don't know what's going on. I just drove 100 miles on a whim. And then we start driving around. As we're driving around, like you look in the rear view and there's a Fox body Mustang that darts out from a back alley and gets in line. There's a 70 Cuda that jumps in line. And then like, these cars have flashing for headlights and wheelie bars and parachutes and different wheels on the back. You're like, these guys are here to do damage. They're not just cruising around Thanksgiving
This is
morning.
like a TV show.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah. This is awesome.
So we cruised around for 20, 30 minutes or so in this general area and we ended up with a line of cars that's like... 70 cars long and all different things like lifted Cherokees and muscle cars and hot rods and rat rods. And what I didn't know, like I'm excited we have a little parade, but what I didn't know, because I was new to this, that while this was happening, there was like 4 or 5 other little convoys getting together like that. Everybody was getting on social and on texting their friends, like, hey, where are you meeting? Let's go to Randolph. Let's go to Avon. And everybody met up at what we call abandoned industrial lots. It took me a couple years to realize they're not abandoned industrial lots. it's 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving and nobody's working. But so we do burnouts in these lots. There's nobody in charge. There's no leader. There's nobody saying you can go next, you're next. It's free for all. Nobody's ever got hurt, but you go in and there's 500 cars.
500 cars.
The last couple of years is close to 4 or 5, pretty easy.
That's rad.
Yeah, so each car has a couple people in it.
Now, I gotta think there's gotta be social media out on that, right? There's people just holding their phones up, or this is underground burnouts on Thanksgiving.
If you've ever watched the original Fast and the Furious, where they're all like on that street and everybody's standing around, the girls, and like, it's kind of that, but real life. And no money on the line. Just a bunch of dumb hillbillies. So, we all start doing burnouts, and we'll do burnouts for 45 minutes, half hour, until the police show up. But there's one cop and 1,200 of us. So the cop rolls in. So the very first time this happened, I didn't know what's going on. I didn't know if this is legal, sanctioned. Like, I'm just along for the ride. And cop pulls in, windows up, doors locked, lights off, makes a presence, and everybody runs, 5-0, and everybody gets in the cars and runs. And people are doing burnouts and donuts around them, leaving this industrial lot, and it's like a one-way in, one-way out kind of thing. And we were one of the first vehicles that was out. And
this is year 1?
This was, I think, year 2.
Okay.
But year 1 for me. And so we've got this huge line of vehicles trying to leave, and it goes like down the industrial lot, down the road, to the stoplight, and every S10 there has a small block in it. The first car was a small block S10 that took a right at the traffic light and sort of drifted it out a little bit. Cop pulled him over right there at the light. Now we have a red light. The cop has the S10 pulled over. In front of us is a 79 dent side Ford, and 40-inch Dixie packs, rocker panels up to my nipples, and he pulls out into the intersection that we have a red light on, starts power braking next to the cop, and starts whipping these wide-ass donuts in this damn near monster truck with open headers, upswept 460, and like it's mayhem, and as far back as you can see, people are doing brake stands. And then it just lets loose. Like this, it's making my hair stand up. Everybody just runs like a shot from a gun, and they disperse like ants. Everybody gets back on their phones, and then they meet up, and now we own the traffic pattern. We don't need to stop for stop signs, yield for anything, because we are the traffic. And then we go, let's go to the Randolph Industrial. We meet up next town over, and we do this again. And I've been doing this for about 10 years. I've driven all the way up from Virginia to Massachusetts, which is like 450 miles, to do this Thanksgiving morning a couple of years in a row. And the odds are good that you don't get caught. You don't get in trouble. I got caught.
Classic Performance Products, CPP, has a few new products out. Let's start with their new HydroStop Street Beast hydraulic assist systems. CPP's HydroStop Street Beast is a direct fit, high-performance hydraulic brake assist system that works great when running a performance engine setup and there is not enough vacuum produced to operate a traditional booster. Simply plumb into your power steering system and share the fluid reservoir with your power steering pump to your high-performance brake system. Assembled with all new parts, this unit puts out an amazing 1800 PSI at the wheels. How about their new 14-inch big brake kits? CPP now offers a 6-piston, 14-inch big brake system for your Chevy truck, featuring 2-piece pre-assembled drilled, slotted, and zinc-coated rotors, 6-piston billet aluminum calipers with DOT-compliant dust and weather seals, premium stainless hardware, and braided stainless brake hoses. These brakes work with their modular and Corvette-style spindles. Remember, use C10 Talk at checkout and save 10% off your order. Damn, son, 10%? www.classicperform.com. Hey guys, I've been buying my truck parts from brotherstrucks.com for over 20 years now. These guys just aren't selling parts. They build trucks. They have their own trucks. They attend shows. They're part of our community. I saw Jim Flanders at C10s in the Park in Texas, and also at Dino's Get Down out here in Arizona. And that's why I continue to buy my parts from Brothers. One thing I remember Jim Flanders saying when I interviewed him for the podcast: when we buy parts, we buy the best parts possible so that you, the consumer, will get the best parts possible. Sure, they have the opportunity to buy a lesser made, lesser quality part, but they know that it's going to you, the C10 Nation. So when you buy your parts from brotherstrucks.com, rest assured you're getting the best part possible. So when you're looking to restore your 1947 through 87 Chevy or GMC truck, go to brotherstrucks.com. That's brotherstrucks.com.
The odds are good that you don't get caught. You don't get in trouble. I got caught. I was in a small block Toyota pickup, and so like there's hundreds of people, and if you're doing a burnout in the middle, it takes a while for the cop to get in there. And I saw the cops, like, I'm having a good time. I just started doing a donut, and then police show up, and you try to like sort of evade and get lost in the crowd, but the cop was like on me. And in a matter of 2 minutes, 500 friends went to 0 friends, and 5 cop cars surrounding me. And they pull up and they get out and they say, "You having a good time?" I'm like, "Well, I was until you showed up." And they just drilled me with questions like, "Who's running this? How do you know when to go? Where are you going next?" I'm like, "I don't know where I'm going next. I'll find out as soon as I get out of here." And I text everybody and find out, "Well, who are you going to text? Who's in charge?" I'm like, "Nobody's in charge." And they were getting so frustrated because I wasn't lying to them, but they weren't getting the answers they wanted. You know, they wanted, this guy's in charge, this guy tells you when you can go, and he organized where we go and what lots we terrorize, but there really is no order. There's nobody in charge. Everybody just knows at 6:30 in the morning on Thanksgiving, you meet at the Rockland Park and Ride, and everybody rolls out from there. And it lasts until about 11:30 in the morning before we get split up into too many small groups, and then everybody goes back home, eats Thanksgiving with their family like nothing happened. And it's
Bunch of convicts.
It's mayhem. So
what happened?
So
to you?
To me,
you ratted everybody out and got it out scot-free. You did a deal. You worked a deal with with the Boston PD.
So like the trouble for them, we're on private property, and in order for me to get in trouble, the owner of the property needs to press charges. So like they just let me go, and they're like, "Don't do it."
Why do these guys care?
I don't know.
I mean,
so there's been a couple of years.
It's like, are you kidding me? I'm surprised. If I was a cop, which is why I'm not a cop, I would go and put my lights on. Yeah. And then just fucking do a burnout.
So there was
right in front of all you guys.
So there was like 2 or 3 years I can remember where we got chased out of a couple lots, and we ended up at a lot that the cops showed up at and just made a presence to make sure that we weren't like vandalizing, you know, smashing stuff and bottles and windows and whatever. And they let us burn ourselves out. It was really cool, but they haven't let us do that in many years. So
we need some video of this. I mean, this is pretty cool stuff.
It's rad. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. You guys I mean, this is something where I could see, Turkey Day burnouts, like, just taking over the nation.
Yeah.
More than the cops could ever handle. Because I'll tell you right now, from a public safety factor, the staffing is light on Turkey Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Turkey Day is pretty chill.
And they get pissed.
But they need to quit getting pissed. I mean, come on. It's at least you're doing it when there's no business in an industrial park that is not abandoned. And it's like, your tires, I mean, give me a break, some asphalt, but
we seal coat the entire lot. Like, they should pay us.
Come on. It's like perfect.
So,
how cool is it on Monday morning when you come to work? It'd be so cool if you were like, you had your tie on, right? And you're like going to work and you look in your parking lot, you look at the parking lot and it's just freaking, just roached parking lot. It's like, dudes just laying freaking rubber.
Like, there was a parking lot, massive parking lot one year that we stayed there for a while, and there was not one spot of clean pavement. Like, 100% seal coated. It was sick. But, so back to my little brother Aaron that I worked with for a while.
Oh yeah, we were on a story.
Yes. Okay. So I had to start a story to tell a story to finish a story.
Go with it.
Aaron had this 84 Chevy Caprice. 4-door, you know, it was a Southern car. The paint had baked off the roof, but it was rust-free. I really wanted it because I'm really into the square 80s, 70s GM cars. The C10 of cars.
Yeah, Buicks, right?
There's
Like, is that like a Grand Regal or what is it?
So, I mean, the Buick was Peristine for the B-bodies. No, that's Pontiac Peristine. Buick Roadmaster.
Oh, Roadmaster. Yeah. You need a Chevy Citation is what you need.
The wrong wheel drive, though.
Oh, yeah. That would be so legendary. Because you could have, like, your bed in the back.
I don't think you get to make decisions anymore.
Okay.
So
it's the same thing my wife says. Damn it.
So
All right, back to Aaron. And the 84...
I wanted this car. It was like pea soup green and just gross looking. You know, the roof was all patinaed, the hood's patinaed, and it needed a motor. It ran, but there was a hole in the side of the block because it froze and broke the side of the block open. And I ended up making a deal with him. Somehow he like gave me the car. I traded him something for it. It was a couple $100 deal. And then he sweetened the pot. He said, I'll make you a $200 bet that this car is not running for Thanksgiving. And by Thanksgiving, he meant Thanksgiving burnouts. And because like I had a lot of stuff going on in my life and like probably wasn't going to run. So I ended up putting a 4.8 liter in it. So this car was named the Shipmobile. Stole the name from Trailer Park Boys, but well suited. And the engine that I put in it came out of a 99 Chevy Silverado that was the town truck for the sewer plant. So
hence,
yeah, shit engine.
the Shipmobile.
Silverado. Yeah, Silverado. So we put that 4.8 in it, and we were getting really close to getting this thing finished for Thanksgiving, and we realized that there was an event going on in near Daytona, Florida, that if we pulled an all-nighter or two, we could get this whole thing swapped out and test drive it from New Hampshire to Florida instead of going from New Hampshire 100 miles away to Thanksgiving burnouts. So that's what we did.
So test drive, you mean your shakedown is down to Florida.
So this is how it happened. We got the car in, we got the motor in, we got it running, checked for leaks, it didn't leak, we drove it to the gas station, put fuel in it, and said, let's go to Florida. We didn't have any gauges, because I didn't hook anything up. We left at like 2... we left at like 9 in the morning. That's when we finished.
That's late for you.
It's pretty late.
Yeah,
so
you slept in.
Well, we were still awake. We made it like 10 miles, and we bellied out, whacked the oil pan, and broke the bell housing in half, wrecked the exhaust, and we're done. So we were able to limp it 10 miles home, idled, and we went to bed. And when I woke up, I had a decision to make. What am I going to do? Am I going to leave this in the backyard forever, or am I going to fix it right now? So I fixed it right now. And we stayed up all night again and welded the bell housing back together, like just thrashed on this thing. And then we left at 2 in the morning. And we said, we're going to Florida. We lost a day, but so now we don't have a day for sleep. So we drove straight through the night, and on Thanksgiving Day at noon, I showed up in Maryland at my buddy Aaron's house that he didn't know I was coming to, knocked on the door, he opened the door, big middle finger, pay me, because I drove his car. You know, the car I said he wouldn't be running.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome, dude.
Not only did I put another motor in it, we LS swapped it. We went all the way down to Florida.
Did Aaron go with you?
No, not on this one. We went and fried the tires off it in front of his house, and like no tread at all, and then bologna skinned from Maryland all the way down to Daytona. So we went to Daytona to shoot a Pro Mega Truck event, because back when Off-Road Nation magazine was circulating, I was a technical writer and a photographer for them. And
in your spare time?
All my spare time.
Oh my God, this guy.
You only know
you
the
don't even
tiniest
sleep,
piece.
dude. You don't even sleep.
I know. So we shot that event, and we were gonna get out early. It was like 4:30, and we're making a lap around the perimeter of the park, just waving to people. And I'm leaving out so much of the story in the sake of time, but it sort of got a little bit internet buzz with this car, the Shipmobile. Mm-hmm. And somebody screamed from way out in the back. They're like, yeah, Shipmobile. And I got excited, so I laid in it. And it was a dirt road. And it shifted up into second. And then it goes bang. And then the rear of the car drops. And I'm like, oh man, I popped a tire because I know I'm on bologna skins. I have zero tread. And I look in the side mirror. And the tire and axle shaft is out like 2 feet. I popped a shaft. And it's Saturday afternoon. I literally know like nobody down here. This is a very foreign race for me. I don't know all these locals. This is kind of another example of the kindness of strangers. I I didn't know what I was going to do. I was on my phone trying to like call parts stores. Parts stores didn't have an axle shaft in stock for an 84 Caprice.
And on Thanksgiving.
No, this I think it was a day later, 2 days later or whatever from Thanksgiving's a Thursday. This was a Saturday.
All right.
So, and everything's closing. And then like kind of nothing's open on Sunday. And the park closes on Sunday. So I'm pretty boned because I can't even like push this car out of the park because it's a C-clip axle. And we ended up making friends with a guy, Bert. And they said, why don't you just come with us? We got a hotel room, stay with us. And ended up being a handful of people that were from up in my area. And I stayed with them for the night, and we all went out. We had a good time. But the next day they brought me back to the park, and like, I'm still scrambling to figure out what I'm going to do. Cause like, if I go to a pick and pull, I don't have tools to even pull the shafts out with. So like, I got to figure that part out. I got to figure out how to get there, get the parts and get back, and then put it in my car. Well, so this is what I did. I called all the parts stores, and the parts store said that they could get it, but they couldn't get it until Tuesday. And Tuesday was like way too many days to sit there and do nothing in a closed park. And then they said, well, we have one in Jacksonville, which was about 100 miles away. I was like, well, if I go to Jacksonville, can I pick it up there? They're like, oh yeah, absolutely. So then I call Jacksonville, and they gave me the number, and I said, pull that aside for me. I'm going to try to get there or send somebody there. This dude, Bert, that I met, his brother lived in Jacksonville. I convinced this guy, Bert, to convince his brother to go pick up that axle shaft and deliver it 100 miles to me. So Bert's brother, who I don't know his name, showed up to this parts store to grab the shaft, and I was like, I'll just pay for it with the card. And they're like, oh no, we don't take card over the phone. I'm like, are you kidding me? So now I had to convince Bert to convince his brother to buy me an axle shaft and deliver it, which he did. And while Bert's brother is delivering the axle shaft, I call AAA, and I get a tow coming because it always takes forever. The guy shows up with the axle shaft. All he wanted was $20 for gas.
Bert's brother.
And 3 minutes later, the tow truck driver shows up. He's a grumpy tow truck driver. We threw the car on the ramp truck and towed it. I have 100 free miles. We towed it 94 miles south of where I was.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah. To go to a friend's driveway who had a space to work on it and like some lawn and garden tools. And it was a 2.5, 3 hour ride in this tow truck. So like, I'm trying to make light, like I'm trying to make conversation with the dude and get him to crack so that this isn't this dreadful airplane ride. And he took me alligator hunting. We stopped at all sorts of spots, like trying to catch alligators. Cause every time I go to Florida or like Louisiana or like, I want to catch a damn alligator. Like you didn't go there if you didn't catch an alligator. So technically I've never been. And he took me alligator hunting. He had a road rage, got out in a fist fight at like this memorial on the side of a road.
Like on the way down to your buddy's house?
Yeah. In the middle of my tow. It was awesome.
He took you alligator hunting and got in a road rage fight.
Yeah, and it was a road rage fight at one, like, you know when somebody, like, crashes their car and dies and they put a cross and flowers and stuff on the side of the road? It was there. Like, the people were there for... awesome. Like,
the people were visiting a burial or a memorial site, and your buddy, Louis the tow truck driver, or whatever his name is, gets in a road rage with the family?
Yeah.
You can't make this up.
No. So
I don't believe it.
So,
why was he getting into it with this family?
Because it started as road rage, and then the family sped off, and then they went out of sight for a while. Apparently they were going to this memorial site for whoever, and then we're driving by, and he sees them. Yeah. He sees them, his veins start popping out of his neck, and he slams the brake on and whips a Yui, and he gets out, and I got pictures of him, and like, awesome. Sick.
And this is post alligator hunting.
This was mid alligator hunting. He took me a couple of times.
So what, you just like stop and he's like, let's jump out and go alligator hunting?
He's like, oh, this is a good spot over here. Let's go. And I'm like, let's go.
What are you hunting alligators with?
My bare hands. So it's like, It's very, very rare you find an alligator standing up on their hind legs. They're almost always lying down. They're almost...
Now I know why you wanted to go to Australia when you mentioned at the beginning of the show, Crocodile Josh over here and his freaking alligators.
Yes.
So are you and this guy, have you had contact with Tow Truck Louie? Are you like buddies with him
His
now?
name's Chad, and we're Facebook friends now.
All right. Yeah, that means you're real friends.
Yeah.
If you're Facebook friends, you're real friends with him.
Yeah, I don't think we've said boo to each other since, but...
Yeah, but I feel like Chad'd be the type of guy, if you need him, he'd be there for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to Chad.
Chad, if you're listening, thanks,
Chad, we love you. Alligator road rage fighter. Dude!
All right. So the hat.
Oh, we're going to get... So it's got a Cadillac, so he's got a Burt Reynolds felt black Stetson-style cowboy hat with a Cadillac pin. Nothing else. It's solo. Go.
Okay. So...
This is where I really need YouTube. I should have my own YouTube channel when I do these interviews.
It's not hard. You already set up. Just turn the damn camera on.
I need to do it.
It's the same work.
I need to do it.
All right. So the hat, I don't know why I initially got the hat. Like, I don't know. I wanted to be cool. I don't know. Why do you start smoking? You know? So
to get lung cancer, not to be cool.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know. It depends on the generation.
I guess it's your mission.
So you have had it for how long?
10, 15 years.
Oh, wow. Same hat?
Like right out of high school. No, I fall on my face way too much to have the same hat.
All right.
So I
So
don't know
you
why.
go in and you're like, I want a Stetson 20X. What do you say?
I don't know. I just order it online.
All right, cool.
Because that's how we work now.
All right.
But I got the hat. I don't know why. But then I realized that it's a marketing branding tool. Like, it's the single best marketing investment I've ever made in my life. Because if I take my hat off and go to a public place, nobody knows who I am.
Sure.
But if I wear my hat, like, I met some dude at the Mint 400 in a vendor booth for, like, you know what the Mint 400 is?
No.
It's a 400-mile desert race in Vegas. It's a grueling race. So there was a guy in a vendor booth that I met for under a minute. 2 years later, I met him in Texas, and he goes, oh, yeah, no, we met over the Mint 400. Like, what? Like, we had no real connection. We didn't communicate after that, but he remembered me because tall, lanky, goofy-looking guy in a cowboy hat.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
So I don't need YouTube. Tall, lanky-looking, goofy guy in a cowboy hat with a Cadillac pin. Why a Cadillac pin?
So, middle name's Cadillac.
For real?
No, not for real.
Yeah, you're making this shit up.
Yeah, I'm making everything up.
Josh Cadillac. What's your last name?
It's Mazerolle. It's practically cheese.
Mazerolle?
Yeah.
That sounds like a cheese.
Yeah. So...
Mazerolle?
It's a verb. It's what you do.
Yeah, Mazerolle. I like it.
You
That's
Mazerolle
cool.
it.
All right, cool.
Or you get Mazerolled.
Ooh, is that could be a good thing or a bad thing?
It's usually bad.
Yeah, if you're
It's
getting
usually pretty
Mazerolled,
bad.
that's bad.
Yeah.
Do you have to get Mazerolled by a Mazerolle? Or can some dude just Mazerolle you?
It's like you can Mazerolle it up the driveway. Or it's usually like an automotive flogging.
I like that. So on Turkey Day, you Mazerolle a car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he Mazerolled the shit out of that car.
That's it. You got it.
Oh, dude, without a doubt. Dude, you limped that thing home with the axle shaft just completely blown out. You Mazerolled that thing.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, Josh Cadillac Mazerolle in studio. Go with the pin.
Yeah, so I've always been... Okay, so this is where it started. And I had a 1983 Cadillac Sedan DeVille with the 350 diesel.
Hoopty.
This thing... It was beautiful. It was two-tone brown. It was like a caramel and then like a metallic root beer two-tone. In the interior, I did like this gold floral pattern roof. And it was super romantic. Well, this car honestly kind of changed my life. And it was weird to say that, but it had like 43 horsepower. So it didn't matter how much you pushed the gas. It wasn't going any faster. And it got like 37 miles to the gallon. It was the most comfortable car that they ever made on the planet. Like, there is no more comfortable car. Cloth seats, the leather seats aren't as comfortable as cloth. And because it got good fuel mileage, being younger and not having really any funding, I was able to drive further distances and realize how close things far away actually are. And I also couldn't really do the speed limit sometimes because it just didn't have the power. Like, I couldn't keep up in traffic or leave in stop signs. But then I realized that going that much slower, I wasn't any slower on elapsed time because the stoplight is the ultimate equalizer. So these guys that are doing 510 over, I meet them at the stoplight. And that's when I realized that life is not a race.
That sounds very hypocritical from a guy who has 1,100 horsepower Toyota Hilux. How do I put those two together?
Okay, so
the stoplight is the great equalizer. Yeah. You need to write that on your truck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not have a shirt that has your truck, the ass end of your truck, the stoplight is the great equalizer as you go ripping by 1,100 horsepower just because you're doing 43 in the hoopty.
So my driving style changes 100% and dictated by the vehicle that I'm driving.
Sure.
So like a diesel Cadillac is made to be driven as absolutely comfortable as possible. An 1,100 horsepower sports car is made to be driven as violently as possible.
And what about a very uncomfortable 1,100 horsepower Toyota Hilux with no gauges and the original seats?
That is supposed to be driven as long as possible.
Oh, all right. You are doing that because you resurrected it from the desert, so it's still driving when it wasn't driving for 10 to 15 years.
You know what I like to think about with this truck is this truck was like abandoned in the desert. It lived a full, hard work life. Like it was a work truck. And then it died. It retired, is dead to rot away.
Retired, I like that.
Yeah, retired. It's done. And then its reunion tour.
Yeah, Dr. Cadillac comes along and saves the son of a bitch.
It's had the wildest reunion tour of any little pickup truck ever.
Yeah,
like
I mean, if a truck had like a little, like it went to heaven and it said, I could get Josh to own me, it would say that. Because it would be, you brought it back to better than its youth.
Yeah, it's, the thing is, it's violent is the word.
I think we need to go. I need a ride in this thing.
Yeah.
There's no way that I'm going to let you go to Cali and park this truck, and then I may never be around it again. I need to get at least a couple miles in this truck.
Yeah, I'm in.
So let's wrap it up. C10, you're going to Cali. Dude, what I'm taking my synopsis, which the audience is going to make their own synopsis.
Of course.
Hoonigan, if you guys want to watch the channel, I was just pulling it up. We're at 975,000 views.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw you.
Yeah.
And the cowboy hat, and really just some of the story. And then on Flying Sparks Garage, which is Emily and Aaron's show. We got some episode 25. It looks like there. Holly Performance. Just put Vague Industry, or you can put the Hilux. You can put it in there. It's going to come up, and you'll get to know who Josh is. I don't think there's very many cameos of Justin. Justin bailed. Justin wants no part of this shit. He's like, I'm out. I'll take my water and whatever food I can get.
I think that Holly video on Facebook had almost 4 million views.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that's killer. I mean, the truck is obviously unique. You've got it down. You've got your hat. But really, the key for me truly is not only, dude, if you don't have your own show, which you are getting, it sounds like you've got a couple different things going, you're going to have it. Because what you're doing is what a lot of dudes want to do from their cubicle.
People live vicariously through people.
They want to live vicariously through you. And that's why it is cool to hear you say that you are essentially, at least for your own perspective, your restoration of humanity, and the people that you are interfacing are so willing to help you because
they want to be part of that story, part of this big, great picture.
Yeah, and it actually is a great picture. You're doing this voyage. What I thought about when you were telling me your story is one of the things we always say is, I'm so glad there wasn't a phone around when I was a kid, because we would have got a lot of trouble. Yeah. I wish there was a camera on your shoulder for all of this shit.
I know.
And there isn't. And there's nothing we can do about it. We can tell the story.
Yep.
And we could talk about Josh the Cadillac, freaking...
Because, I'm already doing the thing whether anyone's watching me or not. If there was just somebody with a camera, gold.
Yeah.
Gold. Because it happens everywhere. Like today, I made my way out on the Tucson Dragway with nobody's permission.
You just rolled out there.
We just rolled out, parked out there, and took all the photos. We did a little thing with another YouTube channel, Sarah Tuned. And it's life is magic when you let it be. It's crazy.
Well, a lot of times if you act like you should be there, nobody's going to question it.
And when you're in something that looks like it should be on a drag strip, Nobody questions you.
And if I'm a security guard of a Tucson dragway or anywhere else, and a guy comes in with a cowboy hat, I'm like, dude, he must be here. He's got to be here. He's already scheduled it.
So you walk in like you own the place. I did this in this Hilux when I first started driving it. I slept in the truck in a hotel parking lot just west of Albuquerque. It was 16 degrees out when I woke up. The whole inside of the truck was frozen. I had to pretend like I wasn't frozen, walk into the hotel just like I owned the place to get my free continental breakfast. And I sat next to a police officer in full uniform who I believe was also doing the theft of services.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be at...
Yeah. So
we need those guys in New Jersey or Boston at the Turkey Day burnout, because it's like, you just stole that free continental breakfast, dick.
Yeah.
So why don't you, Justin alluded to some of the hand heaters on the gut because you're so freezing. Why are you sleeping in a Toyota Hilux? You don't have to. You can get a hotel, bro.
Yeah, I can. But, generally, I have myself booked so tightly that I don't have time to actually get a hotel and sleep in it and wake up the next morning. Like, that wastes too much time. I have to drive. I have to make up miles.
But once you say, because I've done these road trips like, look at me to Texas, which is nothing compared to what you do. Yeah. But once you're like, all right, I'm committed, I'm going to go. Because sometimes I get frustrated, like, I just spent $150 and I'm probably going to get 3 hours out of that.
Yeah.
But a nice warm shower and that hour and a half and the legal continental, which usually isn't because I'm leaving before they even open, which is like at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm already on the road. So you're saying, hey, that I don't even want to spend that money?
Yeah, so it's that. Really,
the
that's
truck
what
doesn't look very comfortable to sleep in, bro.
No, it's not. So like,
you should get a C10.
Think it's $150 for a hotel, right? A going rate.
It is.
That's really not bad. Do that for 6 weeks.
Ooh.
Now add it up. Now it's unreasonable. Now I can't actually go on these trips.
Dude, my Mesa Public Schools, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
We need to calculate,
so these people that like to help you, like, you could stay here.
Yeah,
I got a shower. But you're going to go into Willis's house.
Probably.
That's far from here, bro.
Yeah, I know.
He lives far.
I'm honestly probably staying in town. So I have made friends all over the country.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, at least on the south half of the country, I'm no more than a couple hours from anybody, anywhere I am, that will drop whatever they're doing to help. So, like, if I need a shower, I'll be like, Joe, what's up? Like, I'm passing through, like, we just need showers and, like, some snack packs. And everybody's happy to do it, you know? It's like, it's not like we're taking stuff and we're begging. These are genuine friends and people who genuinely want to help. You know, like I said earlier, if somebody doesn't want to help, they're not going to help. Those are the guys that are going to criticize from the sidelines.
Yeah.
I'm in the arena.
You're in the arena. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's it. C10 Nation, tune in to Josh's journey and what he's doing and his restoration of faith in humanity and automotive awesomeness, really, and what he's doing, because he's got an LS, a 60 LS, 1100 horsepower, 77 Hilux, and they're going out to Cali, 66 C10, I think you said.
Yeah.
So how do we Vague Industries on social media?
Yeah, you got Vague Industries. That's VAGUE, Vagu.
Vagu.
And then it's vagueindustries.com. We don't do a whole lot with the website, but it's there.
What about this YouTube stuff? So
YouTube, you can find our content currently on Busted Knuckle Films YouTube channel, and then just keep an eye out on Amazon. Hopefully that'll be dropping shortly, but.
And one of the things that you posted earlier that I laughed is you pulled over on the I-10 and you were just like getting truck stuff. And you're like, I'm going to be the best 10-year-old that I can be, because maybe at 10-year-old I wasn't and I didn't have the opportunity. Nonetheless,
that's funny you saw that.
Your quotes are, or at least through Aaron, was that I'm looking down on people because you were flying, and then you're honking, you're doing the air pull horn. You definitely have a youthfulness about you. You have a journey about you, and it should be namely Josh's journey, because you're having a good time. But people are going to vicariously live through you. We are, and I hope the C10 Nation can tune in, because I was exposed to you, briefly through Hoonigan, but you're a good dude. You're a rad dude, and I think your youthfulness, and your journey, it's fun. And just keep being you. keep having fun, and people will continue to help you, and myself included, whatever I can do to help.
Yeah, and if anybody out there wants to follow me around on their own dime and film me, it'll be well worth the end.
Yeah, hit up Vague Industries. He can hit you up. DM him. C10 Nation, we're out. We'll probably do a little follow-up with him on this journey. I don't think I'm going to LS Fest. I have no idea. There's 3 things that weekend. There's Battle in Bama, C10 Nationals, and LS Fest West.
I feel like you're obligated to Nationals.
I am. I went last year, but I went to the first LS Fest West. It was fun. It's getting bigger. C10 Nationals was a blast last year. And for some reason, I'm torn between C10 Nation or C10 Nationals and Battle in Bama because I haven't been that far, and to show some love to those guys. We're flying out tomorrow morning, Mississippi, Crawfish Cruise, Dead End Garage. So I don't even know if I'm going to get episode 132 out. It's ready to go, but nonetheless, we're going to let Josh take me, yours truly, out for a quick ride in the Hilux, and then let them get out of here. C10 Nation out. Thanks, Josh, for your time.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate it.